Hi everybody, this is Caroline Sutherby and welcome to Up, Down and Around Town on the Road. And it's week number 15. Time has gone by fast for some, and some they're saying, when is this all going to end? Anyway, there are a lot of businesses that are trying to get back into shape because some were closed, some were just having takeout service, and some were trying to stay alive. So we're going to go to a couple of them.
So I'm happy to be back out and about. I'm glad we opened up. I love being down here and seeing people moving around. I'll be even more excited when everybody gets to go back to full capacity. The customers are pretty excited to be back as well. It's always nice to see their faces. So we currently are at a 50% capacity, which during the daytime is not bad because, you know, days are slower than nights. It's a little different for the nighttime people. So we have such a small amount of people that can be in here. So going back at lower capacity, it's a little tough, especially for the night girls. But we're glad to be back, and we're just waiting so we can get back to full.
Our job is going to have to be to make sure that we don't have too many people in the store at once, so that 6 foot apart standards become impossible to meet. So we'll pay attention to that. We'll do our job. We take that seriously. We are not trying to shirk any responsibility and to find the easy way around all of the best advice out there. It's going to be tricky, but we're not trying to break any rules here. We believe when the CDC says do something, we are not among the group that just says not for me. I wear my mask to protect you, and I sure do like it a lot more when your attitude is you wear your mask to protect me. And we actually hope we get to the point where it's too busy, where we actually have to say, I'm sorry, can you come back a little bit later because we've got too darned much business here. But as of right now, we are absolutely taking it day by day, doing the best we can to plan, start to resume a flow of inventory, and mainly to make sure that we move all of the inventory that was bought especially for spring. That's the viewpoint of a retailer. Very different challenge for restaurants. I can't wait for them to open. That's a huge part of the vibe of a city, so we're praying that they get up and running fast and furious and get us back to normal, some sort of normal anyway.
Last week we gave you an insight of farmers market on the site of the City Hall in that area right there. We went there this past Thursday, and I'll tell you what, they've really added on quite a few more. They had the lemonade stand, they had the popcorn again, they had a pie area. Eastern Market was still there again. I saw a bakery and clothing. So it's like a mini art fair. So what happens next week, we don't know. So if you want to find out, hey, hop down there on Thursday between 2 and 7, and you might see something you might like. I think it's actually a better place for this market than it was at the Wyandotte Theater X parking lot, because it's closer together and it's more uniformed. And we have had a chance to talk to the girls at Vintage Market, and apparently this one gal is the one that's in charge of getting the vendors here. She told me that last year at the end of the season she had talked to Joe Gruber from the DDA, and that's how they set it up, and that's how this came to be this year. Most places now, we know art fairs aren't going to be here this year. We know for a fact the 4th of July parade won't be here, and many things are sort of saying goodbye for 2020. But at least here, you can go there, look around. It's nice and safe looking. And one thing though, we also had a chance to go into the Vintage Market, and that is different because they moved. So let's go and take a sneak preview with the owners.
We've been open for about 3 years now. We used to be located around the corner right next to Bobcat Bonnie's, but now we've moved and we actually face the Yak Arena. We're at 144 Sycamore in downtown Wyandotte.
Today is our grand opening. We've been closed for the past almost 4 months due to COVID, and we're excited to be back and open to the public again today.
Yeah, we're safely reopening. We're following all of the CDC guidelines and social distancing rules. You have to wear a mask when you come in. We have hand sanitizer stations and social distancing X's placed on the ground so you can safely shop in our establishment.
And every Thursday from 2 to 7 we host the Wyandotte Farmers Market.
Yeah, so you can go to the farmers market, you can pick up fresh produce, fruits, lots of baked goods, handmade soaps, and then you can come into the store and shop too. And we have art and signs, we have vintage items, furniture.
We have approximately 61 vendors in the store.
Yeah, about 61 small businesses and makers in our shop. So when you shop here, you're shopping small on a huge scale. Yeah, there's a little bit of everything. And we have
a vintage market.
We have antique stuff and we have vintage furniture, a lot of farmhouse decor, handmade signs. We have bath and body products, a lot of greenery and fresh flowers and stuff like that too.
When did you? Almost 10 years ago, actually in Trenton at Elizabeth Park, doing a little pop-up market.
Yeah, we do events. So our first business is called the Vintage Market, and we host large pop-up vintage fairs all over Michigan and Ohio. We have about 13 a year. So we started with that and then just decided it was time to finally open a brick and mortar.
So how did you come into Wyandotte outside of having your own place on next to
We love downtown Wyandotte.
And she used to own a store in Wyandotte.
I owned a store several years ago in Wyandotte, and I just knew if we did it again, I'd want to be back in Wyandotte.
We just love Wyandotte.
We love the downtown. We
It's
love
so cute.
all the Third Fridays and all the other business owners and restaurant owners. We love being by Bobcat Bonnie's and Taco
Oh, we
Brothers.
love them. Yeah. It's like the perfect location was Wyandotte. So why
How do you
not?
get your equipment and your supplies?
So our vendors bring them in.
Do they?
Yes, we have about 61 vendors in the shop. So together we own another business called Back Row Divas. So we actually travel the country together and we pick barns and we bring a lot of the vintage items here to the store. But then we also have 61 other small businesses and makers who make everything in the store that you see.
They drop it all up and we put it all together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
What if I'm somebody, okay, I've got some antiques in my attic, I'm not a business, I'm just a person. Do you do like consignment deals for people?
We don't do consignment, but sometimes we buy. If it's the right type of item, they can bring in photos or bring the items to us and we might buy it outright from them. But we tend to focus on farmhouse style and vintage. So if you have things that fit in that theme, you know, we do buy items.
What
This
about
week we had a chance to finally talk to the lady from the farm. They come all the way from Ida. It takes, about 40 minutes. She said it's not too bad if the expressways are sort of not crowded. And I call her the egg lady. So let's get a couple of words from her.
Today they opened it up, just the first 2 weeks they had the food vendors, and now they've opened it up to other non-food vendors, crafters, so it's been very busy. And yeah, our farm specializes in farm fresh, free range eggs. We have about 1,300 chickens. I do the cookies, yes. And then we also sell whatever produce is in season. So you want to come to the market every week to see what fruits and vegetables are in season.
It's sort of nice this week. They had a couple other outlets. Biddle Hall had a nice area with all nice hot food. And Rich, he tried his one meal and he said, delicious. I had to keep him back because I think he would have gone for more. But anyway, she did tell us about how they are on site, so to speak. They are still getting ready in Biddle Hall on Biddle Avenue, and they renovated it. And one of these weeks, maybe we'll go in there and get an idea of what they actually did. But meanwhile, this is what she had to say.
Yeah, this is our first time here at the Wyandotte Farmers Market. We own the Biddle Hall directly across the street, so it's sort of convenient. We can come right over here. We're cooking our Polish food, stuffed cabbage, fresh and smoked kielbasa, potato and cheddar pierogies. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, we did have to cancel most of our events between March and the end of June. we're able to start slowly ramping back up and getting events. I have been booking a lot of events for 2020 as well as 2021. I've got a lot of the date availability this year due to some events moving out. So graduation celebrations, showers, weddings, things like that.
This time of year where a lot of seniors are going to be graduating a different way. You've heard from us the past month or so the different plans that they had taking care of the commencement for our seniors from Roseville High School. This time it's finally completed. On the 17th they actually went and picked up their transcripts, if they had any athletic certificates, and a prize or a gift.
Yeah, so these senior bags here, contain certificates that they may have earned during the school year. It has a program from graduation, from the honors convocation, commencement. There's several of those. If they had their pictures taken, they each have like a composite of the class that they'll get to have. Also, any other awards they've earned by department and things like that. So it's a real nice bag to have. And then one of our alumni of Roosevelt contributed a $100 gift certificate for use in Wyandotte at Wyandotte stores or restaurants.
They actually had 4 big pictures against the one wall. And then get closer to it, we realized somebody had kept the homecoming portraits that the class of 2020 had, and found out, I called up Principal Cal, and he double checked. The class of 2020, the freshman year, they took first place. The sophomore year, they took first place. The junior year, they took first place. Senior year, they fell down to second place. But in asking him what type of class was this, he explained it to me this way. They were a really good group, strong academic group, extremely motivated in their way of thinking and the way of thinking and facing the world. So he said for a group that had to go, oh, that's fun. Can we get that? This is, look at that. You don't see those very often in the Detroit River.
Oh yeah, you do.
You do all the time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Wait till you come back to a boat launch and you gotta wait in line for 15 jet skis to load up.
Anyway, as I was saying, he said for a group that had to be survive the pandemic, he says this group was able to do it. So that's coming from your principal, who by the way is retiring. So it's like in reviewing the year, the kids actually had a good football season. Their basketball season was great, but they got cut off. They could have gone to the districts, and who knows how far they could have gone with that, because they were the defending district champs from the year before. And I do have some of the names, but maybe we can start flipping on some of the names to get an idea who is graduating. The wrestling coach Brett Green was very excited about the seniors, especially Nick Biondo and Jared Dykelbauer. They had gone, and I think each one of them had 100 wrestling matches, whether it's 4 years or not, but that's how it was recorded. The cheerleading had some good years. Bowling, if you watch local sports wrap-up, you will know that Marty Chineski had been a coach of the bowling, the girls bowling especially, and he did give us a picture of the bowlers. Some of them got scholarships, which is great. And the only bad thing about this is it came in March. We didn't get softball, baseball, tennis, rowing, or girls soccer. But anyway, he went back and found out that the cars came in and they were coming into the Roseville High School parking lot. And I think you said what, they were tooting and waving and all that for all the kids?
Yeah,
so
they had it set up so you can drive through like a horseshoe, and cars and stuff were parked cheering seniors on.
So that was great. At least that was their 17th of June celebration, so to speak. This coming week, it'll be a little different. They'll be at the football field, provided it's not raining, and there'll be 30 graduates at a time with a guest of 2 people per person. So they'll have their own time slots and they'll come in on that. If it does rain, they will be going into the cafeteria. So you had a good year. You had teachers and the principals and Dr. Koss with the whole group trying to memorize your year graduates. I hope you appreciate it because some didn't have that. So congratulations and welcome to this world that's out here. Okay, other things that need to be mentioned. We were downtown today and getting a bird's eye view of who's actually taking care of some of the flowers, the weeding, and we did see Maggie again and Alice. She said that there's some areas that need to be taken care of, and they didn't have that big volunteer group a couple months ago because of, you know, distancing and that. But I guess if somebody wants to come and help, probably get in touch with their group and make an appointment. They have a lot of area to cover. It's all your Biddle Avenue and behind the City Hall. And while we were talking to Alice, she also mentioned that the community gardens are all rented, and Rich went and took his camera, and you enjoyed seeing some of that. You said they're decorative and what else?
It was really cool. People were really creative. They took and put little ornaments and stuff like that. Some people have vegetables, some people have flowers. What I couldn't believe is people are actually growing basil, and it's growing really well.
Really?
Yeah.
How about that? So thank goodness for that. That's taken care of. And as long as we had Alice there, I know she's in charge of the religious store down at St. Pat's Church. And it's not open all the time, but she said on Saturdays between 10 a.m. and 12 noon, she will be open because there are a lot of people that might want something for a wedding, graduation, communion, who knows. Rich even wanted to find out if they had crucifix there, and she says, yes, we do. So with that, you know for sure, St. Pat's Church, who's part of the Vincent Pallotti Parish, will be open on Saturdays between 10 and 12 o'clock. Okay, what else now? Well, we managed to get Tom off the court and have him give us a little information on pickleball.
Yes.
All right. You're from Groseal, but I remember last year you came on to the show, Local Sports Wrap-Up, and you gave us an idea that you wanted to encourage this to come about.
Correct.
And it did.
Yes.
So how did you actually come into Wyandotte and talk to Justin and get this going?
So again, my job is an ambassador, which is somebody, there's 8 or 9 ambassadors for Wayne County. My job is to promote pickleball. And so we keep our eyes and ears open and we find out what's going on. A friend of mine worked for the city and told me that there were plans to build 2 pickleball courts. So I contacted Justin, and you know, to Justin's credit, he knew that pickleball was was popular. He wanted to get it going, but when I offered my services, he was kind enough to let me kind of jump in and promote everything. So a year ago, last September, almost 2 years now, this court was built, and we started getting people who never had played outside to come outside and play. Downriver, it was mostly indoor courts. There was nothing really outside except for Grozio was playing on tennis or on a basketball court, which wasn't ideal, but they had lines painted for there. And once we had dedicated pickleball courts, everybody was really excited in order to do that. So it started the year before, and then during the winter, I contacted Justin and said, you know, one of the things we want to do is get excitement for this going. So what we did is within less than 2 weeks, Justin put something up on the marquees that are on 4th Street in Eureka, as well as the marquee right by the recreation center. Say, listen, a couple weeks from now, we're going to run a class for anybody who's interested. And for less than 2 weeks, I think he had that up. And we had 19 people show up to the class for 3 weeks. So they showed up each of the 3 weeks, got them going. A couple of people that were there that day are here today. And we were able to get some excitement going. And I told Justin, and I was trying to spit out, let's do a tournament next year, but before I threw out next year, he said, okay, let's do it. So we threw it together fairly quickly, and we only did Downriver residents. And from my understanding was we wanted to try to promote Wyandotte through the Downriver community. So we kept it local. We only gave it out to the folks that played down here. We were a few people short, so we kind of spread out to other ambassadors and other folks who are really good about playing at other places. We got the tournament together last August. We had 48 adults. And then ad lib, we didn't know that we were going to do this, but we had a division of 8 kids. All the kids were 13 and under, and that went over very well. I've been to a few tournaments. I'm not a big tournament player, but we had more people watching from outside of Pulaski Park than we actually had playing, which I thought was a really cool thing because I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
And that was kind of exciting for me to have people excited enough to whether there was family or friends, I didn't really care. But that park was very full, and if you remember last year when Ken did the post-tournament wrap-up, he was a little shocked too, because again, he wasn't sure what to expect either.
Nobody really did, you know.
Well, yes, and so we were pretty excited with the wrap-up. It worked out really well. He did a feature on the kids, but again, it was very exciting. We wanted to do something this year, but as shocking, COVID-19 decided to get in the way, and being an ambassador, I have rules I have to follow by. They're still not running tournaments yet, so don't want to plan it, and by the time they give us the okay to do it, it's probably going to be too late, so I don't think we're going to do anything this year. But
now could you have it on the inside?
We can. You want to have, to hold a tournament, one court will hold 8 people. Okay. So we have to find an indoor place in order to do it. The Grozio Tennis Center is now the Grozio Community Recreation Center, which has 6 tennis courts, which are going to be converted to 12 pickleball courts for that. So we're going to run tournaments out of there during the winter, assuming COVID doesn't interfere with that. So nothing is etched in stone, it's more etched in sand.
We're waiting on that just to make sure.
Yes, I've got to be, I have a responsibility to keep everybody safe, and if I do something that's against what the USAPA recommends, I don't want to, I'm also a pharmacist, so I have to put that hat on as well. So I have to, I got to keep everybody healthy. It's not fair.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you taking a little time because I know you want to see these guys. I see they're starting to add up and waiting to find a spot, and you got to get your spot. You won, right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll get back in line. All right, thank you. Take care.
Well, we went down Biddle Avenue and took a little stop at Shoppers Valley. Went in there and found out from Larry. He gets product every day. He was proud that the store was in good shape, and first of all, he told us about the display he has in front, which is filled with all necessary pandemic items that you might not be able to get in other stores. Of course, that was a situation a couple months ago. Things are sort of evening off now. But
it's like wipes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And these hand sanitizer, buy one, get one free. We got all these masks, bathroom tissue. Nobody got spray bowers, gloves.
But at the same time, we went through and found out he's still got his produce. He's got his lunch meat section. And I found out one thing. He does have Dearborn's sausage products. And that's a good sign for people in Wyandotte, because when I worked at Save-A-Lot and Danny's, we always had Dearborn, and people loves Dearborn products, so you know he's got it there. He also showed us a bundle promotion he's got. People were worried about not enough meat in the other stores. He's got ample there, and at the same time he's encouraging people to buy big products, bundles of it, so you can have it at home, put it in your freezer, whatever. That's something that's, I think, is sort of familiar with Downriver and Wyandotte. And he said, okay, we have butter, we have the yeast, we have the rice, we have beans, and come on down and check on what he has in the store. And if you're passing by on Biddle Avenue, you'll also see his items that are in the parking lot. I saw already watermelon and water, so on and so forth. Anyway, let's go on. Okay, last week you also heard from our Mayor Pro Tem talking about the Wyandotte Community Alliance. Corky Benson and Margie Loya, they're two of the instrumental people that started a home that's been really in bad shape, strip it. They go through the process of maybe having plumbing put in, electricity, everything, anything that it needs. And finally it comes to the point where, hey, it's in good shape, they can sell it. So this year there was one that just came out, and it was 307 North Line. But it's already, somebody's in there enjoying it. So now the other group is getting ready to take care of 504 Poplar. And Rich did go around with his camera getting the outside view of it. When we get a chance, we'll have special talk with Corky and Margie and find out exactly what they have to do. I mean, it's a lot of work when you go in there, strip things. You also have to have somebody that's willing to help you take the garbage out, and how long it actually takes for them to maybe take care of a house. I swear it must be like 6 months, 8 months, but they're dedicated to it. And if you want to help out, even if it means 1 day a week, or just a special day, hey, I can paint, or I can do construction work, it'd be great to hear from you. You have to call the Wyandotte Community Alliance. All right, what else is there to talk about? I think we're getting to the end of the program. I gotta make a note of this. In back of us, we haven't sat there, but because we just couldn't sit there. It's our Indian sculptor. And for some people that might not realize that it's in back of the golf course or off to the side from a golf course. And it was dedicated to our city in 2000. It's standing there, and I don't think anybody really sees it unless they're in a boat on the river. And if Rich gets a chance, he can turn the camera around and we'll see a little patch over here right by the river. It says butterfly weed. Now at one time, Brian Martin had told us about that, and I didn't know exactly where it was, so I sat down here and I said, oh, that's where it is. So maybe one of these years when he's not that busy, because he was just out here with the whole crew and they were doing cutting of grass and so on, he'll tell us about how it came to be and why. Anyway, this is end of number 15. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and we'll see you next time on Up, Down, and Around Town. Okay? Bye-bye now.